Hello everybody, I'm Windy, and in this video we are going to look at the most frequently disrespected of sideline characters in cartoons. They are the ones who consistently get short end of the stick, whether through cruel jokes, running gags, or writing choices that undervalue their role. I will tell who they are, why they are treated this way, and give examples that show both the intent behind it and how it lands for viewers. So let's get started. Robin, the self-proclaimed leader of the Teen Titans, is constantly turned into a target for ridicule. In Teen Titans Go, the show deliberately flips his original continuity persona, where he was competent, earnest, and heroic. They turn him into a hyper-ego-driven caricature. This exaggeration makes it easy for the writers to repeatedly mock him, turning his leadership and perfectionism into sources of humor. There was this episode about April Fools where the Titans have performed one of the darkest pranks that involves them tricking Robin into thinking his dead parents are alive. I think this is going too far. It's a moment that mixes absurdity with emotional cruelty. Other recurring moments include attacks on his appearance, like the infamous baby hands jokes, and also running gags where his plans fail spectacularly, often leaving him humiliated while the other Titans laugh. But you see, this mockery comes from the fact that in universe, Robin is a control freak who takes his role very seriously. He wants the team to function properly, and his anxiety over leadership and perfectionism naturally clashes with the chaotic personalities of the other Titans. This makes him a sympathetic figure, and you can see why he's frustrated. But this is also why he's an easy target for exaggerated jokes. The format in Titans Go favors broad, rapid-fire comedy over nuanced storytelling. Running gags like mocking Robin's baby hands or over-the-top pranks provide quick laughs at the expense of character dignity. Writers intentionally lean into this inversion. Robin's competence and anxiety are set up to just be ridiculed, creating humor for his suffering. While some viewers find this funny, others consider it mean-spirited, particularly when episodes touch on emotionally sensitive moments like the dead parents are alive prank. Now let's take a look at Squidward. He is the quintessential grumpy, artistic character whose desire for peace and quiet is constantly suppressed by his neighbors, SpongeBob and Patrick. In the modern era of the show, his suffering has been amplified, with episodes like Ink Lemonade or Plain to See, presenting borderline cruel scenarios. In the Ink Lemonade episode, for example, Squidward ink is obtained by forcing him into absurdly horrifying situation, all for a black lemonade stand. And in Plain to See, the humiliation continues in exaggerated ways when SpongeBob and Patrick act more mean-spirited than naive. Squidward's personality makes him naturally clash with SpongeBob's boundless optimism. His craving for calm and respect, combined with his artistic ambitions, position him as a foil to chaos. This contrast generates comedy but also sympathy. You can see why his torment feels painful and unfair. Early seasons portrayed him as frustrated but still understood and occasionally cared for by his neighbors. Modern seasons, though, lean harder into relentless mockery, turning him into a near-constant punching bag. The repeated humiliation is both a structural device and a stylistic choice. Joke-driven, short-format episodes favor the exploitation of Squidward's misery for comedic effect. As the series progressed, writers leaned into increasingly extreme, mean-spirited gags, oftentimes at the expense of nuance. Episodes like Ink Lemonade or Plain to See represent well this modern era intensity. Benson from Regular Show is the overworked manager of the park, constantly balancing the chaos caused by Mordecai and Rigby. He carries the weight of responsibility, knowing that their slacking directly threatens his job. His stress is a recurring element of the show, highlighted in moments where he loses it, such as screaming, panicking, or even transforming metaphorically in extreme visual gags. Benson's role as the authority figure makes him inherently vulnerable to the protagonist's antics. Every prank, skipped task, or outrageous mishap puts him at risk of losing his job, creating a genuine stake. This combination of personal responsibility and constant harassment makes him suffering feel grounded and relatable. He is not humiliated for no reason, but as a consequence of others' behavior. From a narrative perspective, Benson's breakdowns are a tool to balance surreal comedy with real stakes. His reaction gave the audience a touchstone of reality amidst the absurdity, and the contrast between his seriousness and the slugger's antics generates humor. The repeated stress and panic sequences are intentionally exaggerated for comedic contrast, so giving him a pattern of mistreatment that's narratively justified but still entertainingly harsh. Now let's look at Tecna from Winx Club. She is an analytical and tech-savvy member of the Winx, and is often sidelined not by the other characters, but by the writing itself. She gets less screen time and is frequently reduced to the tech support role, with her contribution occasionally dismissed to create narrative tension rather than for any in-universe reason. Fans regularly call her the underrated genius of the Winx, emphasizes that much of the group's success depends on her competence. Yet, the show rarely gives her recognition or personal storylines of the same depth as her teammates. As the pragmatic, logical member of the group, Tecna naturally doesn't get the same emotional or romantic arcs as Bloom, Stella, and Flora, especially Bloom. Her personality predisposes her to be backgrounded, and when her skills are vital to the group's success, the story rarely allows her personal growth or emotion to take center stage. The episodes sometimes dismiss her logical solution for drama or suspense, limiting her role to problem solving rather than developing her character. This treatment highlights how group-based shows can unintentionally sideline certain characters, especially the logical and pragmatic ones, even when they are essential to the narrative. The show's production and writing choices often leave Tecna underexplored. Her intelligence is crucial to the Winx victories, yet she rarely receives personal arcs or recognition. Fans note that despite her vital role, she is underappreciated, which reinforces the sense that Tecna's disrespect is primarily due to the writing rather than in-universe interactions. Sylvester the cat is the archetypal hapless antagonist in slapstick cartoon. His repeated failures to catch Tweenie, Speedy, and Hippity Hooper are integral to the Looney Tunes formula. Over decades, he consistently loses, often in spectacularly humiliating ways, establishing him as the perennial loser. Sylvester's goals are simple, and his repeated failures are part of his identity. The narrative expects him to fail, and a failure is the source of humor. He is quote-unquote disrespected in universe because his ambition always exceeds his competence, making him an entertaining but pathetic underdog. In slapstick tradition, humor often comes from repeated humiliation. Sylvester's defeats are deliberately escalated and exaggerated for comedic effect, not out of malice. From a historical perspective, this is standard antagonist treatment, though modern viewers might read it as relentless mistreatment. Meg Griffin in Family Guy is the ultimate recurring punching bag. I think everybody has heard the joke, "Shut up, Meg." She's socially awkward, desperate for validation, and repeatedly humiliated by her family and peers. The show has made her abuse a central joke, with Peter, her peers, and even outsiders frequently blaming her or mocking her for no clear reason. This dynamic is consistent across decades, making her suffering extreme or continuous. Meg's character traits make her an easy target in universe. She lacks social power, confidence, and status, so the other characters exploit that. Her humiliation is quote-unquote justified in story only in the sense that she is weakest in the family hierarchy, which the writers then exploit for jokes. From a production standpoint, Meg's abuse is a deliberate, long-running gag. The writers lean into shock humor, extremes, and repetition, which often blurs the line between comedy and cruelty. While occasional episodes try to subvert or acknowledge this dynamic, the overwhelming trend is one of the relentless mockery, which has drawn criticism for being stale and unnecessarily cruel. Across all these examples, we see different types of disrespect. Some are structural, like Sylvester or Benson. Some are writing-driven, like Tecna or Meg. And some combine in-universe conflict with narrative exaggeration, like Robin and Squidward. While humor and storytelling often rely on exaggeration, these examples show how repeated humiliation, underdeveloped arcs, or deliberate pranks can turn beloved characters into perpetual punching bags. Understanding the reasons behind this treatment, like the character traits, the writing choices, and audience expectations, help us see the fine line between comedy, cruelty, and neglect. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this analysis, hit the like button and subscribe to not miss future contents. And share your thought about this in the comment section down below. Anyway, so goodbye!